So it seems as though the time of legend has passed, and with it the removal of a huge swathe of old Forgeworld units. These are mainly some of the older classic units and models which were envisioned and used during the Horus Heresy when Forgeworld was on that huge sort of Horus Heresy binge that they did over the last decade or two, where they've just pumped out a load of models and designs which were sort of older and meant to lore-wise have been developed or used primarily during the Heresy. But now there is a new system coming with 10th edition, which is called the Legends of the Horus Heresy. And what this is, essentially, for better or for worse, is a move to the Legend system for a lot of those older 30k style units. So essentially, and they do spell this out quite clearly in the article, all of those older units are still usable in 40k. You can 100% use them in 10th edition, but they will not be legal in competitive settings, so no longer will you see Leviathans or Sicaran battle tanks in tournaments, for example, and then also being legends now, they won't be getting updated alongside the various FAQs or erratas or balanced data slates or updates. As 10th edition evolves and changes and progresses, they won't be getting those points changes or the amendments to make them better or worse or nerf them or buff them or whatever it may be that all the other current units of 10th edition will be getting. So I mean, it is a fairly big shift. Things like Contemptors and Spartans and Sicarans have almost become part of the 40k scenery by this point. They've been in the game and usable for so long. A lot of people don't even really consider them like Forgeworld or 30k units or Heresy units. They are just other 40k units in a different place, a different book. So it is a big change for a lot of players that have them, and I think whilst they are still usable, of course, in your narrative and match play games, it is quite sad because they will inevitably eventually fall to the wayside and probably not be quite as good as some of the more common options that you will find in the indexes and of course the codexes when they come out, because they will of course get those more regular points and rules updates and amendments. They do state in the article that a few armies and things are exempt. Custodies, of course, have got a huge range of Forgeworld units and they get to keep all of theirs relevant. It would kind of take almost all the wind out of the Custody sails if things like Caladius Grav tanks and Telemons and whatever were no longer usable or were no longer being updated. And then equally, the Knight households will still get things like their Cerastus Knights. And of course, we've got the Plastic Lancer coming very soon. GW, I think, would be rather stupid to relegate that to Legends for 40k before it had even really hit the shelves proper for 40k players that really wanted to get it and play it and use it and never had one in resin. So I'm glad that there is at least some exemptions, but it does seem that for the most part for you, especially Marine and Chaos players, a big swathe of your back catalogue that you may have liked to have bring out on special occasions or special games is still usable, as I said, but not going to be quite as efficient as you were maybe hoping or expecting it would be. All in all, there is, as I've said, a lot moving to Legends. Leviathans, Contemptors, Deredeos, Spartans, Sicarans, Cerberus and Typhon heavy tanks. Even the relatively new Kratos is going to be hitting the Legends shelf along with the rest. And then we also lose some variants of the Whirlwind, some variants of the Land Raider and the Vindicator, as well as a huge swathe of everybody's favourite super heavies, things like the Fellblades, Chiton Ravagers, Greater Brass Scorpions, and even a few of the Forgeworld flyers aren't safe, with things like the Xiphon and the Fire Raptor also moving to that Legend spot. So yes, overall, it is a big loss, and if you liked using those units, I can understand you being a little bit upset. But does it make sense? I mean, kind of, it does. They do state in the article Marines have had a huge list of options and units and characters and models to make use of, and it has, if we are being honest, really become rather unwieldy. So breaking it all down and making it less overall, if nothing else, for GW to balance is probably going to turn out to be better for the game in general. And I mean, as I said, you can still use all of these. I myself have 2 brand new Sicarans, which I will 100% be bringing out in most of my games because I still love them, and I play, match play or narrative play 90% of the time. If you are a player that likes to stay on top of the meta and see all the changes and have the most up-to-date stuff, then yes, obviously this will be a loss because those units won't be getting it. Equally, if you are a tournament player and you only attend tournaments, you may need to change your list up because you won't be able to bring certain units anymore. But if you are just a quote-unquote standard player who plays narrative or match play games like 90% of the time, this probably won't impact you too much, I don't think. And so I don't think it's going to be time to start burning your armies like the old Dark Elves fantasy player did way back in the day, or kissing goodbye to your favorite Forgeworld models, because if you are just playing with your friends or just playing match play or crusade or just playing in a non-tournament setting, these will probably still be reasonably decent to take for quite a while, even when they do start to fall by the wayside as 10th edition progresses and we maybe even go into 11th edition and they get further left behind. As long as they're still usable and have some basic rules, I still think for fun games they will be worth bringing out because they are some of the coolest models that GW have made, and I still think it's going to be fun to see them even if they aren't the most optimal option. And I think, for me anyway, 90% of the games I play where I think I want to bring a Leviathan or a Contemptor or a Sicaran or a Spartan or whatever, I'll probably just still do it, because whether it's good or not, it's still going to be fun, it's going to fit my army theme, and it's going to fit the narrative of the game I'm playing, and for me that's what really matters. So the sky is not falling, it is a big change we are all going to have to get used to in some way, some more than others. But at the end of the day, it's a change that I think makes sense for GW and will hopefully mean that the other units that aren't being legend, the stuff that is in the indexes and the codexes, can be a bit more optimally balanced against one another. So there could be a silver lining to this cloud anyway. But as always, I'd really love to know what you make of these changes. Is the move of so much Forgeworld to Legends a good idea overall? Or were you hoping that they would stay up to date and in line with the rest of the newer kits? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe for more Warhammer content from me. But until next time, I'll catch you later, guys.